The long wait is over. 9:01 p.m. here in Los Angeles. We are fashionably late because Rookies Roundup rolls like that. I am Jake Liker, host of Rookies Roundup. This is our 18th episode. We are finally back live from Los Angeles. We can honestly say that we missed you all, and it just didn't feel right waiting so long to do another show. We apologize. We were hoping to do a show in Boston, but that did not work out because it was $13 for Wi-Fi. We didn't get back to the hotel room at 10:30 at night. It was a school trip, and I had 3 other kids in my room, and I wasn't going to make them stay up and be quiet while I talked to myself or into my computer. So hopefully you guys understand. To make it up, we're going to be doing quite a couple more shows this week. Tomorrow, I leave for Mexico. Hopefully we'll do a show or two live in Mexico, or as they say, en vivo. So that should be pretty exciting. I know, Spanglish is not my strong suit. I'll stick to just flat Spanish and flat out English. While we were gone, though, of course, the 2 weeks that we were gone, all the exciting stuff in sports happens. A lot of controversy. I mean, whether it's Monday Night Football, whether it's Trent Richardson apparently getting in trouble on the interwebs. I'm not going to talk about that because we'd like to keep it a family show here. There was a lot that we missed, but instead of going back 2 weeks, we are going to cover the present. Before we go any further, we just want to say thank you for listening, and we want you to get more people to listen. So text your friends, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine them if you roll like that. I mean, Foursquare. Who knows? We don't really have a check-in for Rookies Roundup, but we will find a way if it gets more people to listen. So please do so. And you can be on the show. If you want, just text me at 310-922-9536. Or if you're really brave, you can call me, and I promise you, I will answer. The more participation, the better. So, again, please do that. And again, share us on Facebook. And speaking of Facebook, how about National Sports? We are part of the National Sports family. What a great family. Since we have left, National Sports launched a website, nationalsportsradio.com. Check that out as well. I haven't been able to write many articles on it, but that is going to change now that I have a lot more free time. So, yes, please check out nationalsportsradio.com and follow us on Twitter at allcapsnationalsports1. Check us out on Facebook at our page National Sports Network, and on Instagram national_sports. Now, in the past 2 weeks, I've met a lot of cool people. I mean, just think about the fact that the last time I talked, I did a show, Matt Flynn was not a Green Bay Packer. Seneca Wallace was supposed to be starting. Ever since I've gone to Boston, I was still in Green Bay. I met the mayor of Green Bay. What a great guy he is. Met some really cool people in Boston for a journalism convention. Bob Ryan, Scott Barboza from ESPNBoston.com. They were both great. Just to name a few. So it was a great experience, and hopefully it'll help me make this show better. And we hope that you continue to listen. Now, enough of me droning on. After 2 weeks at long last, we finally have a show to get started with, but I can't do this alone. We have to bring somebody on. But that's not a burden. The more the merrier. And bringing him in now, No Taborda, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And you're going to Mexico. You should bring out like a Mexican and I'll translate for you.
Mexican?
I mean, what are they? Are they not? Are they not Mexicans now? Is there some correct terminology?
Oh, I thought you said you were going to translate into Mexican for me. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Spanish, Noah.
I said, okay, never mind. You know what? Never mind. Just forget I ever said it. I never said anything.
No. I appreciate you offering for translation, but I take Spanish class. I'm sure you're better than I am, though.
Pero claro que soy mejor que ti. Tú no sabes cómo hablar español. Soy lo mejor.
Okay, I understood half of that. Here's the problem. When you tell a Spanish speaker that you speak Spanish, they will start speaking 10 times as fast as you are. Not because they want to, but for the sole purpose of annoying you. So,
pues obviamente.
Yeah, he said that's obvious. So listen. Oh no, obviously, right? Mente, obviously.
Let's go right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's take a break from Rosetta Stone and get back to Rookies Roundup.
Rosetta Stone for only $99 a month.
You are lucky that we're not making a profit off of this, because otherwise we'd be getting sued. You know how much copyright fees we would be dealing with right now?
$55 million.
Yeah.
That was a good guess, I think.
Yeah, it was right around there. How many pesos is that? Since you're a Spanish expert.
Let's. I'm Colombian, so I don't know pesos.
But colones, right? Colon, is that what they use there?
I'm going pesos to dollars, so we're doing 55 million. 55
dollars to pesos, I believe.
Oh, it's gonna be about 4,206,081. Oh no, I did that in the peso section. It's like that does not sound right.
Listen, all right. Well, you can get on that. While you do, I'm going to tell everyone the rundown for tonight's show: NFL, then college football, then college basketball, and we will close the show with NBA and, of course, our awards, because we still don't forget about the good stuff.
719,196,814 pesos.
609,000 aproximadamente. No, million. What? You know, I'm done with this.
Yeah, let's ditch Spanish. Let's go to French. I don't speak French.
Bienvenue. Oh, speaking of French, congratulations to the Saskatchewan Roughriders for winning the 101st Grey Cup. I did some research on the CFL because, you know, I've got some friends who actually enjoy the CFL here in Los Angeles. They've convinced me that it's really cool, so I watched a little bit of it. It turns out Saskatchewan is Canada's version of Green Bay. Very small, steady, but very loyal fans, and I appreciated that very much. So congratulations to Saskatchewan. But now to the better version.
There was a fan who dressed up as the Transformer for the game.
Really?
Yeah, it has an S on it.
Yeah, they dress up more in Canada. They dress up less in America. You see that well, I'm sure you were watching the Packer game. Round of applause for those 4 girls who showed up in bikinis in 19-degree weather.
I saw that. That's pretty crazy.
That was fantastic. Good for you.
I do think they should get checked out for mental issues, though. But besides that, yeah.
Their brain, I'm sure, is fine. How about hypothermia?
Yeah, I mean, that might damage their brain. Eventually, they might just go insane.
And speaking of insane, the NFL playoff picture is what we will do to kick off our show.
Do it.
A week ago, I posted that the NFL playoff machine would be released on ESPN. There were some technical difficulties. I gave you an alternate website, but now we're back. It's up, it's running, and so, you know, now that I have to be a little more desperate with the Packers, I feel for so many other fans that use this just as a tool to see what can we do to make the playoffs. Carl, who's a Vikings fan, apparently the Vikings are still alive, but so yeah, you can learn a lot from this. I have done my picks for the rest of the season, and it has given me this. In the NFC, but these are completely unbiased. I was jumping for joy when I found out that the Packers did make the playoffs in this scenario. Number 1 in the NFC, New Orleans. Number 2, Seattle. Both those teams are 13-3. The next 3 teams are all 10-6. Number 3, Detroit. Number 4, Dallas. Number 5, San Francisco. And at number 6, Green Bay at 9-6-1. In the AFC, number 1, Denver. Number 2, New England. Number 3, Indianapolis. Number 4, Cincinnati. Those teams have 13, 12, 11, and 10 wins respectively. At 12-4, number 5, Kansas City. And at 9-7, number 6, the defending Super Bowl champions, the Baltimore Ravens, will find a way to edge their way into the playoffs. Noah, what did yours give?
Well, I'm just finishing up because unfortunately it closed, which really makes me angry.
Oh, Internet Explorer.
I am inches away. I am literally 1 week away. Just to give you right now, first and second seed in the AFC is Denver and New England, and then Seattle and New Orleans. Not much of a surprise there. But right now, I am almost done. Okay, half of the week done.
Okay, thank you for the progress reports. Internet Explorer, ladies and gentlemen, about as reliable
There we go.
as Tony Romo in the clutch. Or are we done with those jokes? Find out in our next segment. But in the segment, Noah is done. Tell us, what did you get?
Got it. So, in the NFC, the first seed, I feel confident with Seattle finishing up there. Second seed, of course, New Orleans played too well not to get there. Third seed belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're going to win the game against Dallas at the end to get in there. They'll be playing at home against San Francisco, who finishes up at 11-5. They will be the sixth seed. The fourth seed, the Green Bay Packers, I think they're going to win the division with a 9-6-1 record. I just don't like the Lions. I haven't liked how they played. They don't play with enough urgency for me. The Bears, no run defense. Even when they get their players back, I don't trust the Bears. And in the fifth seed, my team right now, the Carolina Panthers, I've got confidence in them all year long. I think they end up with 12-4 record. They'll be in Lambeau first round. In the AFC, first seed Denver, second seed New England. Then I've got the Indianapolis Colts going up against the New York... Oh, wait, no. I did not want to make that pick. I will be right back.
All right,
Now
well...
change my pick.
Well, he's back going there. A little fact about the Packers in Lambeau Field. Green Bay has not won a playoff game in Lambeau Field since 2003. Still just astonishing to me that it's been that long, especially considering the home field advantage you should have there against teams who play indoors, but that hasn't been the case.
Okay, I am done. Third seed Indianapolis and sixth seed Baltimore Ravens are going to get in there. Fourth seed Cincinnati and fifth seed Kansas City.
And your 1, 2 are Denver and New England, respectively?
Yes.
So we have identical AFCs. So, for the AFC, let's both go through this then. Indy hosts Baltimore. Who wins?
Yes. I'm going Indy because they show up against good teams, and I think Baltimore is a good team, though at times they haven't shown it. Their defense is a good D, but they just don't have that same magic that I saw last year. But, there's a lot of time for them to find that magic, and I hope they do. I like them as a team. I like Joe Flacco, even though he is overpaid, but I'm going to go with Indianapolis in this one.
I'm going to go with Indianapolis as well. I'm sorry, I just don't see them losing to the Ravens at home again in the wild card round of the AFC. Andrew Luck is ready. Cincinnati hosting Kansas City. Cincinnati's just had a few terrible years in the playoffs. I believe that they have lost to the Texans in the first round. Is it 3 straight times now, or is it 2?
It's 2.
It's 2. Well, I think this year is going to be their third consecutive loss in the first round of the playoffs. Kansas City is going to go into Cincy and win.
Well, you know my opinion, Jake. I think Cincinnati will defend their home field. I think this will be a defensive shootout. I think they both have such great defenses.
If this is a defensive shootout, then Kansas City is winning this game. Kansas City is the best.
I saw Cincinnati against Tom Brady, and this Kansas City offense has no explosiveness for me. Such a weak offense. Very weak offense. I just don't like the team. Jamal Charles. It's a one-dimensional team. I don't like their pass.
One-dimensional. Alex Smith and Dwayne Bowe, and it's one-dimensional?
Cincinnati's one-dimensional as well. I mean, not one-dimensional, but they don't have good at one position like Kansas City does. But I think Cincinnati will edge it out. I think this will be one of the best playoff games, up there with Baltimore, Denver. Great game, possibly even overtime. And I think Cincinnati's getting to advance to the next round.
No way. Just wait. They'll be counting the seconds till the next game. I think Kansas City will win this one with ease. In the NFC, the wildcard games, for me, I have Detroit hosting Green Bay. And I said this to you before the show. If somebody set out to design a team solely for the purpose of beating the Green Bay Packers, you would have the Detroit Lions. A tenacious pass rush with a very strong defensive line. A good running game now. A great passing game. I don't see Detroit losing at home against Green Bay. I think Rodgers is going to be eating a lot of dirt if he plays Detroit. in Detroit in the playoffs, and I think Detroit would beat Green Bay there.
Can I speak on your bracket before I do my thing?
Yes.
Well, you see, the last time the Packers and the Lions played, both healthy, I understand it was in Lambeau. The Lions put up 9 points.
No, what do you mean both healthy? Calvin Johnson did not play. Calvin Johnson did not play that game.
I understand that. But this is Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, away from home. Personally, I think they're going to win. I don't think the Lions are making it, as you know, from my thing. I think they're going to lose this week. I think Matt Flynn will do what he has to do. That's just my opinion. It's not biased either, because I think you'll see in my thing that I don't have the Packers getting past the first round either way. But in your game, I would say they'll win. I don't trust the Lions. I never have.
All right, no, continue.
Okay.
What's your 3 and 6 game?
Well, I have San Francisco going to Philadelphia. And as much as I hate San Francisco, and as much as I want Philadelphia to win, I just can't pick against San Francisco because of their experience. Philadelphia is a young team in the playoffs now. Nick Foles, not as much experience. And we have learned that experience isn't becoming as important as it used to be. You know, you saw Colin Kaepernick leading them to a Super Bowl without any experience. But I just don't trust Philadelphia to win this game. I like San Francisco's defense. I think its tenacity is a little bit too much for Philadelphia. I'm going to take San Francisco in this game.
Philadelphia's not making the playoffs. Plain and
Oh
simple.
my God.
Not all the Queeno in the world is going to put Philadelphia into the playoffs.
We know they have Nick Foles.
The juju is off. Did you watch Silver Linings Playbook?
Honestly, listen to me. I just hated the Eagles fans every week. Nick Foles, give me a savior, blah, 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 and now he's playing well, and I have to eat my words because I like Nick Foles.
You like Nick?
It takes a lot of guts for me to say that one.
Oh my God.
It's hard for me.
Listen, I'm going to disagree with you, but we do have to keep things moving along here. So what do I have? Dallas hosting San Francisco. Both teams 10 and 6. Tony Romo has put on the big boy pants. It is time. It has been too long. It has been too long. San Francisco is not the team they were last year. Colin Kaepernick has struggled. The read option has proven to be a fad, like a Wildcat 2.0, if you will. And finally, rides are open at Jerryland. The Cowboys fans will be cheering. Tony Romo gets the playoff victory at home over the Niners.
Please tell me you saw Dallas lose to all of these good teams handily. I mean, they got killed by New Orleans. They got massacred. 49-17 is a massacre. I disagree with you on that one, though I would like to see San Francisco get knocked out because I do hate San Francisco.
New Orleans does not deserve to be compared to San Francisco. This would set up in Dallas in New Orleans and Detroit in Seattle.
Was the final score of that game? It's a close game. Okay, my 4th and 5th, obviously got Carolina traveling to Green Bay. No answer for the Panthers defense. Luke Kuechly is a monster. We lose at Lambeau, like you said. We lose.
Oh my gosh, you are so.
How? You really think the Packers will beat the Panthers, especially how they're playing right now? They played well. They played pretty well against New England.
The Panthers are an inexperienced team. You think Cam Newton could go into Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers? You think? And listen, this is a great defensive unit, but your two core guys are too young. You're stuck with Starla Tatule and Luke Kuechly in Lambeau. They're not ready for that.
The last time you told me experience matters was Clemson, Florida State, and Florida State killed them.
That was college. This is the big league sport.
Okay, it's the big leagues. I still think that Carolina's going to win. They have shown great composure, and I'm sticking with my team here.
Your team? I thought your team was Green Bay, Noah.
Yeah, I do, but you said non-biased. I'm going non-biased.
Well, I think that you're taking it too far. You're compensating. That's what I think. I think you're overcompensating. None the matter. Back to the AFC, where at least we have some sense of agreement. We both have Tom Brady hosting Andrew Luck, New England hosting Indianapolis. Yes. I have the Broncos hosting Kansas City. You have the Broncos hosting the Bengals. So first, New England, Indianapolis. Who wins?
Oh, what? Sorry. My sound just got weird for a second.
It's alright. New England hosts Indianapolis. Who wins?
New England hosts Indianapolis. I am going... Oh, wow. This is really hard. Because the Colts show up against really good teams. At the same time, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. And I'm going to go... Ooh. I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
Thank you.
It was tough, though, because I do think the Colts are a good team. I don't want to take away that, but at the same time, I've seen how the Colts play at times. They aren't convincing 100% of the time, and I need a team that has shown that they can beat an elite team like New England did coming back. Tom Brady, you don't bet against Tom Brady against a team that hasn't made it past the first round yet. I see Tom Brady leading his team to an AFC championship.
You have learned. So you're saying that Indianapolis isn't going to win because they've never made it past the first round with this team. So you're saying that they don't have enough experience? Is that what you're trying to say?
You know...
Yes. Yeah, it's a yes or no question, Noah.
Here's the difference I see between Carolina and Indianapolis. Carolina, they started slow, but since then they have won games. They won a game against a weaker team when they were losing. They know how to struggle through a win. Indianapolis does not know how to struggle through wins. When they struggle and they lose.
Did I not tell you when they beat the Broncos that they would struggle after? This is what I predicted, and then they will turn things around until they run into New England. And you know what? You want to know why? Because they don't have that experience yet. There's no way around it. Denver hosts Kansas City for me. Listen, I know my preseason pick had this set up and Kansas City would win in Denver. I know. But
sorry, if you beat Kansas City, I can't do this.
Kansas City's man defense does not cut it for me against Peyton Manning.
Thank you.
It won't. They're going to learn their lesson. They're going to win this week, hosting Denver. But in the playoffs, in Denver, after last year, no. The magic's up, and I didn't want to see it end, but at some point, all good things must come to an end. Denver will face off against New England. Brady versus Manning. Again, the CBS executives rejoice.
Now my turn. Bengals, Denver Broncos. And Denver is a great team. Peyton Manning is just a phenomenal quarterback. And, you know, his playoff record may be bad, but he's great. So the Broncos do make a great case. But I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals, Andy Dalton,
Giovanni Bernard,
Geno Atkins. I am going with this team. I think they will break their jinx of losing, and I think that they will come up big, like they do, against good quarterbacks once again, and they are heading to the AFC Championship game against New England.
Okay, Cincinnati is 2-4 on the road at this point.
I understand that.
You think they're going to beat Peyton Manning in depth? Listen, Peyton Manning is not a good playoff quarterback. You have heard me say this time and time again. However, they don't have what it takes to stop that Denver offense. They just don't. It's again, they don't have the experience. It's not a coincidence that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are meeting at this point. Not only are they elite quarterbacks, but they have the experience that other teams lack.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. I think the Bengals are going to pull up. I have faith in this team.
All right, then. I can't argue with the man who has faith. In the NFC, I have Seattle hosting Detroit, and I have New Orleans hosting Dallas. Let me just end this now for you, so you don't scream at me. New Orleans will massacre Dallas once again. Last game was 49-17. This game will be 52-13.
In agreement. Don't say the Lions over the... Don't. Please don't do it.
Oh, no. You have to say your first matchup first now. 1 versus 4.
Good. So, we have New Orleans versus Carolina.
No.
And, of course, we have Seattle versus San Francisco, which just makes it divisional matchups. And the dream ends here for the Panthers.
Thank you.
Because as much as I love the Panthers, as much as I want them to win, they would be better off with the 6th seed. I think they have a better shot of beating Seattle than the Saints. I think the Saints are going to win, and I do think it'll be a close game because I do think Carolina will show up because they're not just going to sit down and say, "Okay, Drew Brees, go to the next round for us." They're going to want it badly, but Drew Brees is so good, and Darren Sproles has been such a weapon for them. Their defense played with Jimmy Graham, of course. There's just a guy named Jimmy Graham who's just going to be catching touchdowns all day. New Orleans to the NFC Championship.
Thank you. Seattle hosting Detroit. Again, not the greatest divisional round games for the NFC. The Seahawks will defeat the Detroit Lions. And why? Experience. But not just experience. This is going to be a good game. But Seattle is going to be hungrier than ever. Last year's loss against Atlanta, they don't forget. Teams that lose in the playoffs do not forget. That's why it's so tough to see teams win back-to-back.
The Packers forgot.
No.
We keep forgetting in playoffs.
No. The Packers already won the Super Bowl. They didn't want it enough. Now they want it again. Remember, this seems to be a similar pattern than last time. Remember when we lost Rodgers for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I agree with you. So I have faith.
But
Okay,
nonetheless,
so
Seattle will defeat Detroit.
My pick, I agree with you, is for Seattle and New Orleans in the NFC Championship game. San Francisco, not good enough. They're going to beat Philadelphia because I don't think Philadelphia's defense is that great. But Seattle, they just have a defense that's pretty good, and they have a running back whose name is Marshawn Lynch, who's going to run over Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis will be paralyzed for the rest of his life after this game. Seattle will trample San Francisco. They're going to the NFC Championship game as well.
All right. So, which means, both of us have New Orleans playing Seattle.
Yes.
And we both have Denver playing New England.
No. I have New England playing Cincinnati. Oh, no. Yes, I do. New England, Cincinnati. So we have one wrong. We have one difference right now.
Okay. Let's talk about how this shakes out. For me, the 4 quarterbacks that are in the end here, this just doesn't feel right. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Russell Wilson. I don't like saying that. I don't. Rodgers, I wish he could be in there, but he just doesn't have the defense. We will go back to the AFC to continue order.
Hopefully we can do it.
Denver hosting New England. And Peyton Manning is not a good enough playoff quarterback. I'm sorry. He's just not. Tom Brady has been unbelievable in games where the temperatures are freezing in the past 10 years. I cannot remember that record, but it's something incredible. He has dominated this Manning versus Brady rivalry, well, at least when it's Peyton. And I don't think that's stopping here. I think Tom Brady goes into Denver, and for the third time in 4 years. Right. Third time in 4 years, correct?
Yeah.
New England makes it to the Super Bowl.
My turn. And New England made it, of course, 2008 and, of course, 2011. Both, they ended up losing to the New York Giants. I am going to say that they will not be attending the festivities of the Super Bowl this year. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to shock everybody, and they're going to the Super Bowl. And the silence begins.
This isn't stunned silence. This is disrespect. Silence.
This is not disrespect. How is it disrespect? They're a good team. They already showed they can beat them.
They're a good team. You know who else is a pretty good team? The New England Patriots. Listen, if this is in Cincinnati, this is a different story. If this is in Cincinnati, this is a different story. But this is Tom Brady in cold weather in the playoffs against Cincinnati, who's never made it past the first round before here. What was your reasoning for Indianapolis losing to New England again? They've never made it past the first round. You're talking in
I
circles.
understand this, but by this point, Cincinnati will have made it past the first round.
But at that point, the Colts will have made it past the first round.
Here's the thing. No, they wouldn't. Yes, they will have. Will they have? Yes.
Yes.
That is a good point. That is a good point. But they will have beaten the Chiefs. They will have beaten the Broncos, which is significantly more. They will have won 2 games. I think the Bengals are going to win this game.
Well,
This was one of my early preseason picks after I saw the Packers game, and I still think it's going to come true.
I still think
I've changed my attitude.
I still think you're wrong. I'm sorry. The great teams can win on the road. Cincinnati is 2-4 on the road. Cincinnati lost to Brian Hoyer on the road.
Yes.
Cincinnati lost to Miami on a safety in overtime on the road.
Yes, I'm perfectly aware of that. I watched that game.
The Cincinnati Bengals cannot win enough games on the road. I'm sorry. That's how
Okay.
you...
Here's an interesting thing. The Ravens on the road last year were 4-4.
They were 4-4. Correct. You know what? It's better than 2-4, which is what we're looking at right now.
Cincinnati has tough time. Do they not?
They lost in Chicago. They
Okay, but if
lost
they win the
in
next 2 games,
Cleveland.
they win
Their
the
only wins on the road, by the way, they had to pull it out in overtime against Buffalo, 27-24. They beat Detroit in Detroit, 27-24. That was impressive.
Okay, so they managed to win tough games.
No, really? That's what you think, right? Okay, they lost in Chicago, 24-21 on the opener. They lost in Miami, 22-20 in overtime. They lost in Baltimore, 2017 in overtime.
2011, okay, fine. The Giants go 5-3, so they're finally above 500, but not terrific by any means.
Yeah.
2010 Packers. Let's go to 2010 Packers.
Well, what are the road tests they have left? They have in Pittsburgh and in San Diego.
So if they win both of those games, they finish with the same record as the Ravens did last year.
And then what? They're going to go on and beat Tom Brady in Gillette?
Did you not see the Ravens last year?
No, but the Ravens had experience, and that's what the Bengals don't.
Okay, that is a fair point. I will give you that one.
Thank you.
2010. Let me go with 2010 Packers. We lost to Chicago. We lost to Washington. We lost to Atlanta. We lost to Detroit. We lost to New England. 3, 4. I count 5 road losses. 3 and 5. This team won the Super Bowl.
Okay, Tom Brady is 24-5 in outdoor games that are freezing or colder.
Oh my God! Please don't give me the stats about the weather. I don't care about the stats.
But this is different. This is in Gillette in the playoffs. Forget about weather. Fine. Forget about weather.
No,
When's the last time New England lost a playoff game at home?
I don't know. I think Cincinnati's gonna win.
Dude, I just gave you the easiest question. They lost at home last year. I caught myself. You had a chance to take that point from me. You didn't. Whatever. We're going to be stuck on this forever if we don't move things along.
Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the NFC now. I think we may possibly agree. You go first.
This is... I have New Orleans hosting Seattle, and you have Seattle hosting New Orleans.
Yep.
Then I think we will agree. Teams who lose never forget. It's Seattle's turn. New Orleans... Listen, we're going to see 2 teams that are going to leave everything on the field. But when it comes down to it, I don't love New Orleans at home in the playoffs. They're one of those teams that seem to struggle inexplicably at home in the playoffs. The last time New Orleans played Seattle, the Seahawks were 7-9. And this produced one of the greatest viral videos of all time. Seattle won, and basically they rescued the Madden curse. Now Seattle gets to go into New Orleans. They were so close last year, and this time it happens for real. I think that Russell Wilson's speed is going to be able to evade the Rob Ryan blitz. I think Marshawn Lynch is strong. I mean, listen, I've gushed on and on about the Seahawks, and I hate myself every time for doing it. But that doesn't change the fact that the Seahawks are a talented team, and they're going to be more talented in New Orleans when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I am in agreement with you, and there's no way around avoiding the fact that no matter how good the Saints are, the Seattle Seahawks are built to win a Super Bowl. They brought in all of these players. They have a terrific running back, a quarterback that is still young and is developing, which means they have a while to go. That they'll still be a talented team. And no matter how many times their quarterbacks get caught for substance abuse, they're still a really good team. I expect a good game. I would be thoroughly disappointed if it wasn't a good game. But Seattle will win the game. They will go to the Super Bowl to face the Bengals.
How biased is Noah Saborda?
How is that biased?
The Saints played the Seahawks, the Bengals win. Come on, man. Super Bowl 48 in Meadowlands.
No matter what.
Tom Brady versus Russell Wilson in the Super Bowl. Oh.
Andy Dalton versus Russell Wilson.
Andy Dalton versus Russell Wilson. I believe that's a Rose Bowl rematch.
Andy Dalton, Russell Wilson. Let me look that up.
Right? Wisconsin versus TCU.
I think it was Russell Wilson.
I'm looking that up right now. I'm telling you, this is a Rose Bowl rematch. This was the game that TCU won 21-19. They barely pulled it out.
I think that was. Let me see.
No, I'm telling you, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now.
No, he lost. Let me see.
Oh, oops! Wisconsin's quarterback. Oh, this is too perfect. Wisconsin's quarterback, Scott Tolzien.
When?
In the Rose Bowl.
Oh, the one that was close?
Yeah, well, most of them are close these days.
I mean, there was also... Yeah, that's true.
No matter. You were saying.
What was I saying? Andy Dalton versus...
Russell Wilson. Seahawks Bengals in the Super Bowl. Who wins in this ratings disaster?
Not a ratings test. People are going to love the Bengals. They're going to see, wow, this team is really good. They deserve to get some attention here. And, of course, Seahawks are just a polarizing team. And I can't pick the Bengals here. It's just physically impossible for me to pick the Bengals. Physically and mentally impossible. Seahawks are going to get the championship. I don't look forward to Seahawks fans talking about this, but I'm going with the Seahawks. They were the best team to me in preseason. I still think they are. I think they win the Super Bowl. I think Andy Dalton puts up a fight, but that's the best he's going to do.
Let me get this straight. They can beat Kansas City. They can beat They can beat Denver in Denver. They can beat New England in New England. But you draw the line at a neutral site game against Seattle.
I think Seattle's the best team in the NFL.
Noah, I've never disagreed with you more. I haven't disagreed with you this much since we talked about Pacers Bulls. And so far, that argument's turning out in my favor.
I like how you pick the 76ers and
my surprise team was the Portland Trailblazers.
No, yours was the Cavaliers. What are you talking about?
No, it was the Trailblazers. You want to go back and listen?
Falsehoods.
I told you the Trailblazers were going to be a team.
We must revolt.
Who's we? This is my show. No mutinies.
It's time. It's welcome to Noah Borda's version of Rookies Roundup.
We're not doing this again. Listen, Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl. I've been saying this since the beginning. I'm not changing my mind now. Russell Wilson Seahawks over Patriots. Yeah, because I don't pick Cincinnati to beat New England and to beat Denver. What? I'm fine with you picking Seattle.
Here's the truth.
If Cincinnati is good enough to beat New England in New England and Denver in Denver, then they will have no problem beating Seattle.
Denver was your 1 seed, right? It was your 1 seed in the AFC.
Yes.
And you had Kansas City over Cincinnati.
Yes.
Okay. So you have how many total upsets?
How many total upsets? I have. Oops, I did not open a new tab.
By seeding, not by actually.
No, I feel you. That's 33 things only Colombians know. Sorry. Wrong link. Here we go. Shout out to Colombia. I met a guy from Colombia at the Packer game.
See, Colombians were great people.
They're fantastic. He moved his car for us to get into the spot so we could get to the airport. So, yeah, shout out to Colombia.
Upsets, how many upsets?
Upsets, yes. Let's see. Nope. Okay. 1. Nope.
I have 5, by the way. You picked Seattle over...
3.
No, 3?
3.
Kansas City over Cincinnati. New England over Denver. Seattle over whatchamacallit. Didn't you pick the Niners over the Lions, or did you pick the Lions? Oh, yeah, you picked the Lions in whatever game it was. Or the Niners-Cowboys. Right?
Yes, I picked Lions over the Packers, Cowboys, and then well, listen, we both made our Super Bowl picks. It is time to move on. We spent a lot longer on this than I thought.
At least we agreed. We agreed on the Super Bowl. That's really what matters in the end.
Yes. But now it's time to go back to disagreeing. Tony Romo deserves our respect, and he is our next topic.
He deserves our respect. I agree. But he's not going to make the playoffs.
Tony Romo is clutch.
But the rest of his team isn't.
Really? So you think Tony Romo hasn't been holding this team back all these years? It's been the rest of his team.
It's been his defense. It's been Tony Romo in those games. We've looked at the stats. He's had some games where he's played bad, but he has had times where he's played very well, and his team hasn't won.
Well,
I think folks will just... I think the Eagles are a much more complete team.
The Cowboys are winning games now.
Much better running game. I like DeMarco Murray. He's on my fantasy team, but he's not doing so hot. He's rushing for like 40 yards a game and a touchdown.
This team is averaging 27 points per game.
Which one?
Dallas.
Don't count Philadelphia's. Count it only with Nick Foles.
No, I can't do that. That takes me a long time. And listen, people's attention spans these days, we gotta keep the show rolling. You know, listen, I'm sorry we don't have any strippers named Sweet Pea this time. I'm never gonna let Jacoby Jones live that one down. By the way, Philadelphia can't win games at home. They're halfway there. They can win games on the road. They're 5-1 on the road. But they can't protect their home turf. They're 1-4 at home this year. They are 1-4 at home this year, but they're 5-1 on the road. This is how bad Eagles fans are. They make them want to lose at home.
They make them want to lose. Let me pull up their schedule, because I have to somehow make a comeback at that.
It was actually announced today that Michael Vick is now healthy, but Nick Foles is going to remain the starter for the rest of the season. Good call, bad call.
Good call. Why would you take him out of the game? He's been playing so well. By the way, since he started playing, Foles got the win at home against Washington, and he didn't play in the New York game. He has only played in the only game he's played at home. He won. The games he has played, they have won every game he has played in. Played versus New York, versus Tampa Bay, versus Oakland, versus Green Bay, and versus Washington.
Oh, wow. Stepping up against Scott Tolzien in Green Bay, against Washington, against the Giants, against the Buccaneers, and against the Raiders. Way to prove yourself. Listen, I agree with you, but this is not the reasoning you're looking for to send a team to the playoffs.
The Buccaneers team to beat the Detroit Lions team that supposedly is going to make the playoffs?
Oh, you want to play... So you want to play that game? Well, really? Because you'll be going literally in circles. Did you see the thing about the circle of parity in the NFL is complete?
Okay, let's go. Now parity. So everybody is worse than everybody. let's do that. Now I'm
No.
going to bring the birdie into it. Everybody's worse than everybody.
Everybody's better than everybody.
I think there's worse. I don't agree with the betting.
Oh, you're such a pessimist. Glass half empty.
No, I am an optimist. I just think that we're saying about who lost to who, so we're not talking about who's winning.
Oh. Listen, I disagree with what you're saying about the Eagles making the playoffs, but I agree with the decision about Nick Foles. The Green Bay Packers take on the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. We talked about this. You said Detroit, I said Green Bay.
No, I said
Josh, what?
I said Green Bay. You said Detroit.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
You
Josh
said
Sitton earlier today told a radio station in Detroit, called the Lions scumbags, saying that they always play dirty. Good move or bad move?
don't say that out loud, because Namakong Su will now kill you in your sleep. But yes, they are dirty people. I'm sorry. The truth is they're dirty, but the handling of it, talking about it, unprofessional. You just don't do that. If you haven't, I always hate when people do it. If you have a problem with it, take your anger out on the field. Do not do it in the media. Play hard there. Don't play dirty, like the Lions. Play hard. Don't talk about it. I don't need to know what you think about the team. I honestly don't care what you think about the team. Just go out there and get the win.
Yeah, in Detroit, they don't run suicides in practice. They run murder-suicides, and then they all get arrested. Do you remember when Michael Phelps beat that Serbian swimmer by .01, like by 100th of a second? Do you remember that?
Yeah, the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Milorad Kovic was his name. Kovic was trash-talking before that race. It might have been that extra motivation that put Phelps ahead of him by 100th of a second. The Packers are long shots enough in this game in my mind already. Don't make it harder for yourself. Josh Sitton and the rest of the offensive line, you are going to be murdered. I shouldn't say that. That's not how I like it with the Lions, because, that might take me literally. But you are not going to play well against this offensive line. Josh Sitton, please be quiet. This is not what the Packers do. The only time the Packers get to do this is when they're angry about referees. And only TJ Lang can do that. TJ Lang is the only person that is allowed to make outspoken comments for the Packers offensive line. Are we in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Good. Alright. Lastly, what is the player that has impressed you and surprised you the most at this point?
What? My sound is just kind of weird sometimes.
It's alright. What player has surprised you and impressed you the most at this point in the season?
Nick Foles or Cam Newton. Those are my two. How can you say Cam Newton hasn't impressed you? All this time, Cam Newton's a great quarterback, but he can't translate it into wins. Yeah. Well, he's translating it into win. Nick Foles. I didn't like him. But now he's proved me wrong. 5 games, 5 wins. Those are my two that I thought are the most impressive.
And, okay, do you mind repeating the opponents that Nick Foles played against?
Okay.
No, seriously, no, I'm asking you as a favor. Can you repeat those for me?
I will go. Are you going to calculate the record of them?
No.
Okay, I'm trying to go there. It's a little slow. I'm going to try... Okay, because it's not loading. Let me try to do this off the top of my head. Giants, Buccaneers... I got this. Giants, Buccaneers, Raiders, Packers, Redskins. Alright.
Now let's talk about the player that has really been the biggest pleasant surprise this season at this point.
Tyrann Mathieu.
No. Because listen, it's not Cam Newton. Cam Newton's great. It's not Nick Foles. Nick Foles is great. It is, without a doubt, Kelvin Clemens. Look at what Kelvin Clemens has done. Kelvin Clemens led this team.
Is he leading his team to the playoffs?
They're gonna finish 9-7. Let me tell you.
They're not gonna make the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs, but listen, this is because Sam Bradford dug that team into a hole.
I'm sorry. I don't care. his stats aren't as good.
His
His stats aren't
stats-
as good. His record is not as good. I don't care who started for him. Nick Foles did not start for his team either, and he still dug them out.
800. Okay, in the last 3 games, he has thrown for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions against Chicago, in Indianapolis, at home against Tennessee, games in which they went 2-1.
Chicago's bad. I'm
They
sorry, their
won
defense.
42-21 against Chicago. Have you seen the way Josh McDowell is playing?
It was
Listen,
a long running game. You can't. Everybody knows that Zach Stacy just he ran over them.
I have to eat my words. I would have to make an apology to St. Louis because I remember earlier in the season that I made a point that the Rams were worse than the Jaguars. And I have a responsibility to eat those words because I have never been so wrong. I lost sight of what was really going on with St. Louis. The receiving corps has proved me wrong. Tavon Austin is a lot better than I thought he would be. We might be having some technical difficulties right now. I think me and Noah broke up. So, because we are live and because we can, we're going to go to a commercial break. Oh, no, we don't have to do a commercial break. Noah, you're back?
I'm back.
I'm good. Alright, last topic. Oh, before I do, no, never mind. Last topic, Kansas City. Do they get back to their winning ways?
They are playing the Broncos, correct?
Yes.
No, they're not getting back to their winning ways. Get used to 3 losses. That's your next. That's where you'll be at after this week.
No, but will the fall continue?
Oh, after that?
Yeah.
They play the Colts also, correct?
Yes.
No, they're going to lose that game too.
Oh, anything else?
I can't pull. Okay, I'm pulling up their schedule right now.
They played the Raiders, they played the Chargers, and they play the Redskins. So Redskins, Raiders, Chargers, Colts.
Broncos, Colts, they lose. I don't agree with any. I don't think they'll lose to any of their teams.
Okay, I agree. If they want to get back to being an elite team, they have to learn how to play zone. They can't play man defense against these really good quarterbacks. That's why guys like Phillip Rivers and Peyton Manning have been able to rip them apart. San Diego scored 41 points on the Chiefs' defense.
That's true, though. You look at the quarterbacks they played, they've been bad. Buffalo, Cleveland, Houston, those are not quarterbacks. Oakland, Tennessee, New York, Eli Manning down here, Michael Vick's Eagles. Romo was the only one in Jacksonville.
So, exactly. They can't expect to play man defense against the really good quarterbacks and expect to get away with it. Speaking of getting away, we're going to take a quick commercial break because it looks like we've been talking nonstop for 53 minutes and 11 seconds. We're going to have to speed things up for the rest of the show.
13 seconds, and 14 seconds, and 15 seconds.
You are 5 seconds behind.
How did I get 5 seconds behind?
I don't know, man. First you're stuck in 2012, now you're stuck 5 seconds ago. You're so close, man. You're so close. You're right there.
35 seconds.
We will be right back to talk about college football. Surprising picks to the Heisman Watch. Some BCS picks. The Jameis Winston scandal. And a debate that you won't want to miss. What did Matt Leinart say to make us actually want to talk about him? Don't miss it. We'll be back in a few quick seconds. Stay with us.
Presentation of National Sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from the local stations.
And welcome back. So, we are continuing now with college football. Heisman Watch, BCS picks, Jameis Winston, and what Matt Leinart said. First, let's start with the Heisman. It's been quite the interesting battle. Everything is shaking up. Jameis Winston would be the favorite, but he might be getting arrested in 2 weeks. That could shake things up. Johnny Manziel struggled against LSU. Marcus Mariota did not show up against Arizona. A.J. McCarron has creeped up. He is undefeated. Do you know that besides his redshirt season, he has more national championships than losses as a starting quarterback? It's unbelievable to me. Bryce Petty struggling against Oklahoma State. Jordan Lynch slowly creeping up there. Perhaps even a running back breaking out onto the scene out of Boston College. Who should win the Heisman, in your opinion?
Well, Johnny Manziel is now out of the question for me. It was the worst game of his collegiate career. He got killed. 16 for 41 line, sub 50% completion rate, 83.2 passer rating. It's just not good enough. And no matter Johnny Manziel, Jameis Winston, he struggled at times as well, but nothing as bad as this. It's just I don't see Johnny Manziel up there. And then I like Jordan Lynch. I think he's playing well, even though he's a smaller conference. He has played well. Andre Williams definitely playing well, and Kadeem Perry getting up on that list as well. But AJ McCarron and Jameis Winston right now are my top two. If Jameis Winston does get convicted before the end of the season, AJ McCarron really does make a strong case. But at this moment, I see Jameis Winston as the favorite.
If the question is who should win the Heisman, not who will.
Who should?
Who should?
AJ McCarron.
Jordan Lynch. And let me explain why. Because listen, I know he plays for a smaller. Listen, if the shoe fits where it is a perfect model for the underdog spearheading a true Cinderella story, he's not going to win the Heisman. I know he's not. He's not playing against the most elevated level of competition, but he dominates everyone in this path. Before today, by the way, when he broke his own FBS record for most rushing yards for a QB in a game with 321, he was 7th in the country in rushing yards. 7th. And he's a quarterback. He's the sole reason that Northern Illinois has been catapulted into the national spotlight. He's thrown for nearly 2,400 yards, and he has had the greatest impact on his squad. If you remove Lynch from NIU, the loss would be much greater for the Huskies than it would be for the Ducks without Mariota, or the Seminoles without Winston. Lynch is the most valuable player to his team, and that's what makes him Heisman worthy.
But my thing is, it's not the MVP. It's a different award. It's the best player. It's not most valuable to his team. And the other thing is, look, you look at McCarron, and he, as you said, that stat about lost championships, he deserves one eventually, and he doesn't make many mistakes. You look at Jameis Winston. Preseason, Florida State got no love. They weren't supposed to win against Clemson in the preseason. Most people said no, and he's been able to lead them to it. I love Jordan Lynch, but if I had to choose between him, Jameis Winston, and McCarron, the undefeated mark for Alabama and how well he's done in the past years just makes me think more and more that he deserves it.
Did anybody care about Northern Illinois before Jordan Lynch?
No, but if it's all about caring, did anybody care about Fresno State before David Carr?
Yes, Fresno State used to have prominence.
Yeah, but no, okay, so you asked somebody preseason.
He is the sole reason Northern Illinois has any sort of significance in the college football world. This year, 2,418 yards, 21 touchdowns, 5 picks. That's passing, by the way. And then if you want to talk about running, he has rushed for 1,434 yards and 17 touchdowns.
I'm just telling you, put him in a system like an actual, I think you could play up at the high competition level. I don't think he would be worse. But I think that if you put him with them, his stats are significantly worse. Like you said, he's the reason they're there, but that's because they don't have any other weapons.
Here's a question. Who has played better this year? Who's played better? Jordan Lynch or Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston.
No.
Not statistically. But he's played better. He's come up in big games. His composure is just terrific. He beats good teams. He doesn't seem fazed by anything. Jordan Lynch doesn't either, but we saw him in the game last year, Florida State against them, and that was a Florida State team that's worse than this Florida State team. Though Jordan Lynch is improved, of course, he got a lot better. I still give it to Winston.
Yeah, James Winston really isn't fazed by anything. Just ask the DNA evidence. Listen, this guy is not.
He hasn't been fazed by it, has he?
What?
What? How did he get fazed by it? Has he been fazed by the evidence? He's in trouble because of
No,
it.
he's not fazed by assaulting somebody. Sometimes it's okay to be fazed by things. But listen, you know what? In college athletics, hey, OJ was ruled innocent, so, anything could happen with Jameis Winston. I think Jordan Lynch deserves to win it. He's not going to, but I think he absolutely deserves to win.
Maybe the show that we've had the most disagreements on. Like, all the other shows so far, we've agreed on, 2 things.
Yeah, it's actually impressive. BCS picks. Who wins? Who loses? Who does not make it? At this point, it's down to 3.
National championship game, Florida State, Ohio State.
Who wins?
You agree with me there?
I agree with you there. Who wins?
Ohio State.
I agree with you there. I said that for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Ohio State was my preseason pick. You're an Ohio State fan, so you can tell us all about the Buckeyes.
Well, people, this is what I hear week in and week out from everybody. Sure, their combined record is bad, and it's what everybody says, combined record bad, Big Ten bad. Well, please explain to me how a Wisconsin team that lost to Arizona State on a ridiculous call, they should have won that game. And if you don't believe that, there's just something mentally wrong with you. But they should have won that game if the referees had screwed it up. But then again, lots of calls are like that. But they competed with them. We beat Wisconsin. We can compete with Stanford. Arizona State, look, bad first half against Stanford. Second half, really, really good. They dominated them second half. Sure, you can say Stanford may have let the cat taking the foot off the pedal, but you just don't do that. You look at Michigan State. They're a quality team. You look at a bunch of teams, teams that have played well and that are in the top 25. This Ohio State team, our defense, it's not playing great. I won't lie. But we're missing a lot of starters. We're missing, I believe, 4 starting players, 1 linebacker, 1 defensive lineman, 2 cornerbacks, 1 cornerback and 1 safety. The cornerback and the safety are coming back. Duran Grant is coming back, and C.J. Grant, both Grants are coming back. So they're coming back. And then the rest of them will be back soon, too. That makes the defense considerably good. We have a future All-American defensive lineman named Joey Bosa. We have Ryan Shazier. We have a first-round pick named Bradley Roby. And that's just the defense. When they're healthy, they're really good. You go to the offense, just Braxton Miller. No biggie. It's not like he runs for 100 yards a game and is still improving in his passing game. And he could return next year if he wants to. And then, of course, Carlos Hyde, 260 pounds, 6 feet tall, and he's pretty strong. He can jump over people, hurdles people, runs through people. It's just a very talented team. Lots of weapons. Even John Trez Wilson, our freshman wide receiver / running back, who's ridiculously fast. So many weapons on this team. I think we have a legitimate shot of winning the championship.
Here, I agree with you, but where I don't think you're right is saying that the Big Ten is good. If Alabama does not, if Alabama does not beat, if Alabama beats Auburn, and Florida State wins out, if all 3 of these undefeated teams win out, Ohio State does not make it to the national championship.
I agree, but first of all, I think the Big Ten is better than the ACC. The ACC is bad.
No.
Clemson. So you say, oh well, Clemson. Clemson's the team that lost to a bunch of bad teams. They lost to Georgia, who now we know is a bad team. Isn't that great? And I really do feel bad for them, especially Aaron Murray, tearing his ACL. That sucks for him. Great player, and it's just a tough way to go out of your college career. But then you say, oh, well, they beat Miami. Miami has lost to bad teams, too, or teams that aren't good enough. I'm sorry, I think that if you put the ACC up against the Big Ten, it's very close.
That is flat out wrong. That is biased. That is flat out wrong.
Michigan State is a good team. I went to see Michigan State over the weekend, and sure, it's against Northwestern, but that team is good.
No.
Very good.
Michigan State. Let me tell you something about Michigan State. Alright, they're 10-1, but the Big Ten's weak, and the wins haven't been statements. Okay, their top teams can win on the road, and you know what the Spartans have done away from Lansing? They've won against Nebraska, Illinois, Northwestern, and Iowa. Those are not formidable opponents. Neither is Notre Dame, and they lost against Notre Dame in South Bend.
Okay.
They have not faced a true test, especially on the road, and when they play teams like Ohio State, they're going to struggle. They can't hang with the big boys.
Let's look at the BCS standings really quickly. So you have Florida State, and you have Clemson. And you have nobody else. Duke. There we go.
Duke. Okay. Duke is
Big
right.
Ten. Big Ten.
Duke.
Ohio State. Michigan State. Wisconsin. We are now equal.
Okay, what are the rankings for each of those teams? What is Ohio State ranked?
Third, 11th, 15th. Then it's obviously 2nd, 6th, and 24th. So you add those up. Let's add them up. 2 plus 6 plus 24 is 32. And Ohio State's is slightly higher, 24. No, Ohio State's is 26, 29. And, okay, I like Duke. I think they're a good team, but I think Michigan State would beat them. What has Duke done against the big boys? Please explain to me what they did against the big boys.
Oh,
They're
no.
big boy.
Michigan State would beat Duke.
It's not a big boy.
Michigan State would beat
Miami's
Duke.
not a big boy.
Yeah,
They're big boys. They haven't done anything against
Miami
the big boys.
would beat Michigan State.
No, they wouldn't. And they lost. Duke lost to Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh. I don't call those big boys either.
Listen, Listen, you want me to defend Duke football? I'd rather defend Duke lacrosse.
I'm not defending them.
Kidding. Never defend Duke
they're
lacrosse.
The third best team in there. You look at Wisconsin, which is the third best team in the Big Ten. Their losses came to Arizona State by 2 on a terrible call, and to Ohio State. Both good teams. You look at Michigan State, and sure, they're okay. I'll give
If
you
the Big Ten is better than the ACC, then why did you say that Florida State would play Alabama?
Huh?
If the Big Ten is better than the ACC, then why is it that when I asked you if all three teams went undefeated,
Florida State wins. The Florida State blew them out. You look at the schedule. You look at their scores. It's the same thing why Baylor would go in. You look at the strength of schedule. They did this on ESPN. They show the strength of schedule and everything. The only thing that Baylor had on us was points per game. The only thing.
This isn't about Baylor. This is about Florida State. Florida State.
Florida State has destroyed every team they've played. Ohio State hasn't. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm. And that's a weak Big Ten.
Yeah.
Yes, weak Big Ten. Thank you. Okay.
No, not weak Big Ten.
Yes.
Strong
Yes.
Big Ten.
Nope.
Strong
Too late.
Big Ten.
I said weak Big Ten. I said weak Big Ten.
No,
There is
strong-
no way you misheard me.
Strong Big Ten. That's why it was closer. And injuries to our defense, which does not help.
All right. Next topic. Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston allegedly sexually assaulted a woman about a year ago. Despicable. Okay.
Yes.
They're saying that he could be convicted in about 2 weeks. Should
Thank
he
God for
be
Florida State.
convicted? Should he be convicted? Should he be guilty? Should Jameis Winston still win the Heisman?
No. No bad. I don't. Okay, so you see like situations where there are bad people winning Heisman's before, but a lot of that comes after. You know, Johnny Manziel, all that stuff came after, and he didn't do anything even close to as bad as this. But it's just, I don't want a guy like him winning it.
Not what you want. What you think is right.
That's what I think is right. I don't think a guy like that should win it. But I think he will win it, even if he is convicted.
Oh, you have to have some faith in humanity.
I'm sorry, I do have faith. I just think he will. I still think he'll do it. Unless unless they decide to keep him out of the national championship game, which in that case, he won't win it.
The NCAA would do that. And for once, I would stand by and see the NCAA not allowing Jameis Winston to be cast on the Heisman ballot. If he is guilty. Right now, we have to live with innocent until proven guilty. So at this point, he's innocent. If he's arrested, I agree. This is not the example you want to set. This is not... Listen, football players get a bad enough rep already. And this whole bullying scandal in the NFL doesn't help either. The last thing you want is someone who has sexually assaulted a woman to win the Heisman.
Can we talk about the why now thing? Why is this all coming up right now? Because this is a very fair thing. That if Jameis Winston wasn't having this good of a season, this never would come up.
Disagree. No.
Well, now it happened in 2012. It's the same thing with the Aaron Hernandez thing. Now it surfaces. That he did that thing all the way back then. Because when something else bad comes up, it's going to happen. When they want a part of the fame and they want to get in on it, that's what happens.
So then you have a problem with TMZ. TMZ, believe it or not, was TMZ Sports was who broke this story.
Okay, fine. I'll have a problem with them. Because, they broke the story, but who do you think told them? It's not like they just went digging in. I'd put a $20 bill. Or a $100 bill.
What do you mean the TMZ didn't go digging in? That's all TMZ does. Invade people's privacy, look for dirt, they hit the mother lode.
The person who filed it was like, you know what? I'm going to get back at him. And I'm going to do it. I do think he did it. I just got a hunch that he did.
Oh, my God. Noah. So you're saying that you were upset with a woman who was sexually assaulted because she waited to come out with
Why now?
Because she was scared.
At the beginning of the year. Why now?
Because she was probably scared. Maybe he threatened her. Hey, you know, if Jameis Winston's is enough of a lunatic.
He comes out of the Wake Forest win. I'm going to threaten this woman.
No. After After he sexually assaulted her. You don't tell anyone. Blackmail. This happens all the time.
I'm not scared.
Correct. Want to know why? Because now she knows she'll have the public on her side, and Jameis won't touch her. This is what happens. It's a sad story. But you know what? Maybe that's what happened. We don't know. This is speculation. For all we know, he never assaulted anyone.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not saying that she's a bad person for it. I don't think she had any intention to. I don't think she's a bad person. Obviously,
she was scared.
Sexually assaulted. She was sexually assaulted. That's not right. But it just pisses me off that it was not a year ago. And even if he threatened her, she still would have had the public on her side if he had done it closer. If she had done it closer to the beginning of the year.
Oh, because Jameis Winston was such a superstar at the beginning of the year.
Okay, let's go to the Clemson win then. October 19th. Do it then. Do it after the Maryland win when everybody already knows that he's really good.
No, you have to be sure.
So you have to be sure that he's a superstar, which means you have to be sure he's going to be a star, which means that once he's a star, oh wait, he's a star, so now I can do it. That's using the public now. It's a different thing now. That's getting in on the fame. Once you say, I want to be sure that he's a star.
If she was doing this for fame, then she would release her name and picture. This isn't for fame.
Oh my God. I don't like when it pops up at this time.
I think you have to put yourself in her shoes. And listen, I don't think she was going to tell anyone anyway. I think this was TMZ doing some digging where they shouldn't have done anyway. And we stumbled upon this. I'm sorry. If we put ourselves in her shoes, I think that there must be reason for this. And again, this is all speculation.
Okay, tell me the reason.
I did tell you the reason, and you were not satisfied with the fact that somebody could possibly be scared.
If she tells me, if she comes out and says, I was scared, I will believe her, but I just don't believe that right now.
We can't believe anything right now. This is TMZ we're talking about.
I'm more scared of him as a college athlete, a famous college athlete, even if she has the public on her side. There's a better chance that he ends up going to jail, in my opinion, when he's not a college athlete.
Ooh. I'm not going to argue with that. Which makes me think that she wasn't planning on telling us anyway, and that TMZ needs to mind their own business.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Alright. How about that? We agreed after one of our most heated debates about a very sensitive topic.
I didn't mean to offend anybody out there if they were offended.
No one's... Listen, it's a tough topic to talk about.
The 100 people that will probably listen to this by the end of it.
If 100 people listened, oh my god, I'd jump up and down, man. Listen, our ratings, that's what we're going to say. Our ratings have been falling. Like, give me something that's been falling.
Our ratings have been falling too. Like, we get like 40 to 50. Maybe lucky to get 60 right now. We were around like at 100, 5 in a row.
That was us too. I think it's just we're shifting out of summer and stuff. I'm glad I'm not alone. Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not like happy that you guys aren't getting viewers. Like,
I'm happy you guys are here.
This is what you get for hijacking my show. You get my views, my ratings too.
I'll get Brock Osweiler's neck on you.
Oh, I was so happy when I saw Brock Osweiler go out to try and knock
You
that
should be
person.
scared that he's coming for you. His neck will engulf your house.
You're the one who's making fun of his neck, not me. Okay.
We're best friends. Me and Brock are great.
College football, last topic. Matt Leinart was asked who he thought was the greatest college quarterback of all time. College football quarterback of all time. And he said, without hesitating, Vince Young. This has got to be an interesting one. Because this is you can go a lot of ways with this. Which is the way that you go?
Well, Vince Young was a great college quarterback. To take that away from him is a disgrace. He won a Rose Bowl, and he was very good in his time.
He's a disgrace if he does not win the whole thing?
No, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace if you say he isn't one of the greatest.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But the greatest, I could see why you would say that. I could see that he was a terrific quarterback in college, but I just can't go with him being the greatest of all time. I don't buy it.
Here was his reasoning. This was an interview with Fox Sports 1. Quote, my USC faithful is going to be mad at me, but I gotta say Vince Young. And the only reason why, you look at his stats, and his stats are staggering. He's over 6,000 passing yards, over 3,000 rushing yards, so we could do both things. And, quote. That's hard to argue with.
It's true. It's very good. It's very good numbers. That's hard to argue with, but I don't know. I'm gonna give me a second to think about it. Let me hear your reasoning in this.
No, here's the question. There are other options out there. It's Vince Young, Matt Leinart, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, Andy Dalton, Kellen Moore, Case Keenum, Tommy Frazier.
Okay, now you're going back a little bit. Good.
Those are the guys that you would have to seriously consider. I mean, if we're just talking about stats, Case Keenum and Andy Dalton and those guys go in there. I mean,
first of all, Leinart's not even in the top 10.
Listen.
Gino Torretta, Ken Dorsey, Joe Namath, Winky, Michael Vick, Tommy Frazier, Cam Newton.
I said Frazier. I said you're saying all those people. I said Otto Graham could be there too.
Doug Flutie, Vince Young. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna either go with Flutie or Tim Tebow as the greatest of all time.
You have to pick one.
Okay, I'm going Tim Tebow. I like Vince Young, but no. You know what? I'm gonna go with Flutie.
No. You were right. You were right.
I'm going with Tebow.
You were right. Thank you.
It's hard because I like Flutie. I liked him as a player, but I'm gonna go with Tim Tebow.
You're right. I agree. Because with Tim Tebow, what he did, the things that he did changed the game in a way. I mean, he was an enigma. He was one of the most charismatic players that we've ever seen in the history of college football. The guy threw for, he only threw for 9,285 yards, which is less than half as Case Keenum, by the way.
Case Keenum,
Right.
I still don't think he's,
Okay. 88 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. That is insane. And let's not forget his rushing. He ran for 2,947 yards and 57 touchdowns.
Yeah,
And not to mention 2 national championships.
who's the greatest college football player all around of all time?
Oh my gosh. That's tough.
Kong Su is like top 50. No, he's not.
No.
O.J. Simpson's up there, but no, not Peyton.
I mean,
Frazier's up there. Jim Brown is up there. Vince Young is up there, but
you could say Charles Woodson?
Up there. Charles Woodson's up there. Tim Tebow's up there. Bo Jackson's up there. Sammy Baugh. Barry Sanders. Archie Griffin.
Oh, no.
Herschel Walker, Archie Griffin, or Barry Sanders.
Not Robert Griffin.
I didn't say Robert Griffin. I said Archie Griffin.
Oh, Archie. I thought you said R.G. Griffin. I'm
Matt
like,
Grange could also be up there.
no.
I'm gonna go with Herschel Walker, and then followed by Archie Griffin, followed by Barry Sanders.
All right. I did not do my research on that, so I cannot give you an informed opinion, but Tim Tebow is my choice for best college quarterback of all time. We are an hour and 20 minutes into the show, so we're going to skip college basketball. We're going to give that to you guys next time when we are in Mexico for Dia de Acción de Gracias, as they say. How do they say it in Colombia? Same thing, I'm assuming?
I don't know. I don't know if there's Thanksgiving there.
No. Well, there's not Thanksgiving in Mexico either, but they still have a name for it.
I don't know. It's probably the same thing. They speak the same language.
Yeah, well, it sounded pretty foreign to me when you said, oh wait, it's a foreign language, never mind. Because you're here, I decided that I was going to end with NBA.
Yes.
There are 5 topics we'd like to talk about. And the first is something that's going to hit close to home for you.
Oh, yes.
Derrick Rose, injured.
The wheelchair.
Meniscus, he is out for the season.
T-Mac 2.0.
Question, is he out for the career, or is this hashtag the return of hashtag the return?
It's hashtag the return, but the return of what?
The return of the return.
What is really returning? What if him is returning? His legs aren't returning. He is going to return, but he is no longer a franchise player when he returns. I don't like to say it, but I hope he comes back, but I don't have confidence he will. It's going to be the return of a good player. A guy who's going to put up 15 to 20 points a game, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, somewhere in that numbers, maybe a steal a game, shoot 48% from the field. Shoot well from the free throw line.
Who would put up better numbers? Who will put up better numbers next season? Derrick Rose or Rudy Gay?
Who will put up better numbers?
Yeah. Because Derrick Rose...
Derrick Rose will put up better numbers.
Rudy Gay is not a fan of numbers. He actually banned stat sheets in the Toronto Raptors locker room.
Yeah,
you know that?
I think Rudy Gay will have good numbers, but I still think Derrick Rose's numbers will be slightly better. But I think it's going to be very close. And just to say that alone shows there's something wrong. That's the problem. How can we rebuild now? If Derrick Rose does not come back a franchise player, we have to do something. So the question now, for me, and I don't know if this is going to be one of your upcoming questions, is do the Bulls tank?
No one tanks. You do not tank. If you, as a franchise, are going to tank...
Okay, nobody actually tanks.
Then there is a franchise in Seattle ready and waiting to win games because you have an obligation to the fans and yourselves to go out there and win games and compete.
You realize the Spurs tanked a couple when they had David Robinson. They tanked to get Tim Duncan. They had David Robinson and they tanked. So don't tell me teams don't tank. And you say
No.
The Spurs are going to Seattle now. The Seattle Spurs.
I just don't like the idea of tanking.
I don't either. What are we going to do? What option do we have? Gordon Hayward, we can sign him, sure, but he's not an answer. We could try to sign Melo, I don't think he would want to. If D-Wade decided to take him to Chicago, cool, but he's not a franchise player. We need a high draft pick, and we don't have Charlotte's until 2016.
What about LeBron?
LeBron won't come to Chicago. I don't think he would get a good reception here. The players hate him. I don't think it would work. I think he's more inclined to go back to Cleveland.
I would love it if he goes back to Cleveland. You know what? I think I would gain all my respect back for him.
But here's what would happen, though. The Cavaliers, honestly, from what I've seen from them, I really do hope they make the playoffs. And I think will get better as Bynum starts to get better. But what I've seen from them, they're going to end up with a top 5 pick. And if they end up drafting, so you look at their team, if they can get a good center, because I don't think Bynum is the answer, if they can get Joel Embiid, if they can get Willie Cauley-Stein, or if they get, maybe they go for a power forward in Julius Randle, or maybe they go for a better shooting guard than Deion Waiters like Dante Exum, and they bring in LeBron, that is a very good team.
That could be better than Jordan's Bulls. The potential. It has the potential. Trust me. You know how I feel about comparisons to Michael Jordan.
It has the potential to be. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that has the potential to be.
Alright. Here's how I feel about Derrick Rose. Listen, these injuries are completely unfortunate, and I feel bad for him, but the truth is, these are just the sort of things that you can never return from. It's bad luck. I guess it just wasn't meant to be. And that's okay. You know, Derrick Rose is still going to have a great career. He's still going to make a lot of money, but this is not going to be the Derrick Rose we all hoped for.
And here's the thing that hurts me more. You started to see signs of it. He was starting to put up 20 points again. Finally. He was starting to move closer and closer back to his... going back and back closer and closer to normal, to his level that he wanted to be at. And then this happens.
Alright, next question. And this is kind of an abstract one. It's not very controversial, but it's something I did think about, and I figured it'd be good enough. It'd be important enough to talk about. What do you think about this? If you look at the NBA divisions, you're gonna see that the difference between some of these divisions is sad. Right now, the worst team in the Southwest Division would be tied for first in the Atlantic Division.
Well, the Atlantic is terrible.
The Atlantic consists of the Raptors, the Sixers, the Celtics, the Nets, and the Knicks. The Southwest consists of the Spurs, the Rockets, the Mavericks, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans.
I think the Atlantic, and I think Brooklyn still has a chance to turn it around. They have a chance. But with Jason Kidd, they won't. But this has the possibility of being the worst division we'll ever see in NBA history.
If you look at the East and the West, for so many years the West is dominated. There are better teams in the West that don't make it to the playoffs, and worse teams in the East that do make it to the playoffs. And so I ask, the NHL just made some changes to their divisions and their conferences. Should the NBA start from scratch with alignment? Here was what I thought, to make things a little more fair. These would be balanced and these would be geographically convenient. A Northern Conference and a Southern Conference. The South, you'd get the Lakers. No, wait.
Don't do Northern and Southern because of time zone difference. The NHL changed because of time zone.
Correct, but still. I mean, you gotta do something. We can't just stick with this East and West stuff because that's never gonna work. In terms of, we're just seeing too much of a difference. But you have to have conferences. That's why I'm saying North and South. You can have, in the South, you can get the Lakers, the Clippers, the Suns, the Spurs, the Rockets, the Mavericks, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Magic, the Bobcats, the Hawks, the Heat, and the Thunder.
Okay.
Am I missing some? I'm missing teams, right?
Okay, move one team move either Houston or San Antonio to the Eastern Conference. That's more in the West.
No. You can't just move one team.
I don't know what to do because it won't be geographically convenient if you change it too much. I think they should change it, but I don't. Here's the problem, and here's the big thing. The problem I've had with hockey, and I'm not even that big of a hockey fan. Rivalries have been ruined by this. Chicago versus the Red Wings is one of the greatest rivalries in hockey. It has been ruined by this. Ruined.
But imagine the rivalries this would create. This would put the Lakers and the Heat. You would get regular matchups between the Heat and the Thunder, Lakers, and Spurs.
I just don't like the North and South.
Listen, but it's the best I could do. You want to scrap conferences?
I'm in favor of pulling a baseball and mixing them up.
Mix them up completely? Alright, fine. Do that. Listen, and here's the other thing. 15, I'm done with this 16-team nonsense. Out of 30. 12. 12 is the number.
No, hockey has the best playoffs. You know how you do it? You do 16 and you reseed. You reseed after the first round.
The best playoff system. Everyone can agree that the best postseason system.
Have you ever seen a hockey playoff system? The hockey playoffs are undoubtedly the best because lower teams they pull off upsets, and instead of a 1 seed, and instead of them now getting to play a 4 or 5, they actually have to play up against the better team.
It's what the Kings had to do.
Might not get eliminated.
Yeah, the Kings had to play number 1, number 2, and number 3 and beat them all. Listen, the best postseason system of sports in America is absolutely March Madness. In professional, it's NFL.
We're not going to do 68 teams.
Correct.
That's possible.
I like NFL because it's do or die. But you can't do that in basketball.
Yeah, you can't do that in basketball. It just doesn't work like that.
Right. So what I would do is you take 12 teams, you take 6 from each conference. You give 1 and 2 a bye, and you do NFL style basically, only in series. First series is 5 games, and the next 3 are 7 games. Cause I don't need to see the Sixers, or I don't need to see some team that's sub 500 get crushed by the Heat in a 7-game series. Like that's not fun for anyone, and it's a team that doesn't deserve to make it to the playoffs. Playoffs are less special.
I just give it the 8 teams. I don't want to see an uneven amount because I think in basketball it's very important to have a first round seed for even if it's a blowover. You get time to work out kinks, to iron it over, and you know what? If that 8th seed wants to show up and play, then show up and play. And they can, there have been times that 8 seeds have knocked off 1 seed.
Correct. No. I'm saying you would do 12 teams in a no conference system, because now you're only snubbing even more Western Conference teams that are good.
Conference system. I think I would like to see more teams in the West make it. But I think that if you're doing conferences, each conference deserves it. I think it's the same thing, it's the same thing with the Big East. The Big East used to be bad in football. It still isn't that great. But, it's not even a Big East anymore. But you take those teams, and they used to get into BCS rules as an automatic qualifier. They didn't deserve it.
It's true.
It's weaker, but I think that you just have to leave it like that. I think that even though I would like to see more West teams, I just leave it how it is with the 16. It is appealing to see what the 6th thing would look like, and it depends. I also think I want to see the divisions, because if you mix the divisions up and then the mixed up ones, those teams still end up making it, and the teams that don't deserve it don't make it, then I'm all for it.
All right, then. Here we go. Moving on. 4 topics left. First, how are the San Antonio Spurs flying under the radar again? Like, they're just quietly in the corner winning 11 games in a row, 13-1, tied for the best record in the league, and yet again, they are not getting the attention. I don't care if it's a small market. Wake up, ESPN. Wake up.
Once again, though, because it's too early in the year for me to change my picks, I still say the Clippers would end up winning the series.
Terrible. Just despicable.
How? This team
Despicable.
The team is good.
The
LA Clippers are a good team. They are a good team. Okay, but let's talk about the Spurs. Well, they are a good team.
The 13-1. Stop it.
Really
Stop.
Good team.
No, you are being
really
too
good.
calm. They are the best team right now.
The only team that I think is hotter than them right now, and that's Portland.
Who I called?
No, you didn't.
Yes,
but, okay.
Go back.
Besides that, their wins have been basically shit. Besides Memphis.
Shh! Stop cursing on my show, Deborah.
Oh my bad. Okay, their wins. The Shiznit. Everybody heard Shiznit.
Seriously, do I have to go back and make like a second thing explicit? Like, only on this show can we go through an entire debate about sexual assault and keep it completely appropriate, but talking about the strength of schedule of the San Antonio Spurs. You did this with Notre Dame too.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was like 3 episodes ago. You said the same thing, that Notre Dame's schedule was shiznits. Whatever. Continue.
I don't remember Notre Dame.
I do. I remember everything.
Okay. Do you remember the exact day 5 years ago during the summer that you ate ice cream?
That was probably twice a week. It's ice cream in Los Angeles in the summer. Are you kidding? That's like a part of life. I don't really remember everything, but I do remember stuff on my shows.
So the Spurs, their wins have been shiznit, but I do think they're a really good team. I think they're going to lose to the Thunder when they play them in Oklahoma City. But they are a really good team. And they go under the radar the same way they did every year. Every year people say they are too old. I don't think they're too old. I just think the Clippers are going to beat them. It's not oldness. I have already learned the Spurs are a very, very good team, and age does not matter.
Correct. You want to know why the Spurs are so good? Give you a hint.
Popovich, Duncan, and Parker.
And what do they have?
Experience and
yes.
They have chemistry.
And where does the chemistry come from? Experience.
Greg Popovich.
Which he learned to enforce from experience.
His parents.
His parents. His parents' experience, really, because these were life experiences. So, I digress.
I like how experiences stopped so many teams from winning Super Bowls, and championships in every sport, but obviously that really actually hasn't changed anything.
It really hasn't, though. Keeping things going in the NBA, it's time to play a segment I like to call Bad Team, Good Fit. You're clearly all over the hottest prospects from this year's draft class. So, I'm going to name a pretty bad team, and you name their best fit and why. Utah Jazz.
Let me pull up the thing. Utah Jazz?
Yes.
Utah Jazz first. Let me get this, because I was not prepared for this.
It's alright. I like to put you on the spot.
Okay.
This is what you get for cursing on my show.
So the Utah Jazz, of course, bad would be an understatement. They are a terrible team. Gordon Hayward?
They beat the Bulls.
I know. We are a bad team. We're a bad team. Gordon Hayward? I want the Bulls to sign him, but I think he's going to stay. Right now, you look, they've got the point guard Trey Burke, you've got Gordon Hayward, and you've got Derek Favors and Enes Kanter. You're good. Power forward.
You have Enes Kanter, so you're good?
Enes Kanter, have you seen how Enes Kanter's playing? You want his stats? You want me to read off his stats?
Is he really doing better than I thought?
13 points per game, 14 actually if you around it. 7 rebounds, about a block. He's playing better. He's getting better every year. I won't say he's a permanent solution, but he is getting better. Derek Favors, I like him, but I don't think he's, this year playing well. Actually, he had 13 points, 10 rebounds. So I think he could also be a permanent solution. But power forward and small forward, really the weaknesses, and they are lucky that this mock draft is good in that. And, of course, small forward, the biggest hole, so it's got to be Andrew Wiggins because he's just a phenomenal player, and he's a guy you can't miss on. You look at that team, and they would be a good young team. Trey Burke, Gordon Hayward, Andrew Wiggins, Derek Favors, and Enes Kanter. The rest of the players, I don't see them drafting Jabari. I think he's a little bit, doesn't provide the offensive skill, even though he is so refined offensively. I don't think he has the offensive potential, and they really need somebody who will just be dominant. And I think that's what Andrew Wiggins will bring them.
You do realize that the entire state of Utah would fall in love with Jabari Parker.
I do, but I think that the Jazz are going to, if they do it, personally, I think they should be more concerned with what they need rather than what their state wants.
Just listen to this little section from an article from Sports Illustrated by Jeff Benedict. Mormon faith more important to Jabari Parker than NBA star. Humble isn't usually the first word that comes to mind when describing a star athlete, but it's the one most often used by people who've been around Jabari. The high school janitor, the hall monitors, the cheerleaders, even hard-bitten sports reporters, and Chicago's famously combative mayor. What makes this all the more surprising is that Jabari 17 is just not the best not just the best high school player in the state. He's the best high school player since LeBron James.
Okay.
They would love him.
Listen to me. Jabari Parker is less NBA ready than Andrew Wiggins. He's got as much potential. He's got a lot of intangibles.
I'm just saying it would be an interesting story. I'm not doubting you on this one.
He's the most athletic player in this draft. He's a crazy athlete. Got great size for a player. He's good at defense. His NBA comparison on NBA draft is Scottie Pippen. And, the first thing to say, a freakishly gifted athlete with a remarkably smooth offensive game. They don't pass on him. You pass on him, you make a mistake. And suppose they do take Jabari, what would your next bad team be?
Milwaukee Bucks.
The Milwaukee Bucks. Okay. You look at Milwaukee. Let me pull them up. O.J. Mayo, Brandon Knight, when he gets healthy. Caron Butler, not a permanent solution. Pachulia is in there for Sanders. You got Henson trying to develop an Ekpe Udo. But this team barely has anything. You let him slip, the Bucks will eat him up. They will be so happy to have that guy on their team. Do not let this guy pass you. Do not. They're all once-in-a-lifetime players. But I'm telling you, Wiggins, okay, LeBron goes through people. Wiggins goes over people. Not saying LeBron is worse than him, but Wiggins, do not pass him. Just don't do it. It's a mistake.
So besides Wiggins, who would the Bucks take?
Okay, so Wiggins goes to the Jazz. Then the next best player is Jabari Parker. And in this situation, when it's like a team like the Bucks, where they really don't really have anybody really on their team that would start over any of these guys, it's really Jabari Parker. It's best player. It doesn't matter if they already have a guy who could possibly do it. They could really draft anybody. They could take Marcus Smart. He'd start over Brandon Knight. They could take Embiid, and he could probably get some time. Larry Sanders moved to the power forward. It's just, Jabari to the Bucks. There's no way around it. He's just the best player left.
I'd like to say that, for just side note, I absolutely love Marcus Smart. And I love Oklahoma State's basketball team. Marcus Smart was a guy that I loved last year. I mean, Oklahoma State and Iowa State are two fantastic teams to watch. Iowa State, besides UCLA and Xavier, because my favorite letter is X, and it always has been for some weird reason, don't know why, Iowa State, because they're such an electric team to watch, and Marcus Smart is just unbelievable, and I'm so glad he stayed. He really can be such a steal, because the talent this guy has is so raw.
Yeah, definitely. He's really good. I mean, he's the reason they earn my respect, to go along with LeBron Nash and Markel Brown.
third and final team, Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento, they're going a lot lower right now than I think they will expect. I think they will move up probably to a top 5 pick. And Sacramento, unlike the first 2 teams you mentioned, actually has a much better foundation than those teams. You look at DeMarcus Cousins, he does have problems, but I do like him. Ben McLemore was a good pick. Isaiah Thomas has been playing decently well along with Grievous Vasquez. And they did just get Derek Williams. So I think power forward is the position here. Or point guard, I guess you could go with Marcus Smart, but I'm going with Julius Randle. I'd say if they end up with a higher pick, the best for them is Julius Randle. If he's off the board, Marcus Smart is the way to go. But Julius Randle, if they can get him, he would fit in very well into this team. You have him and DeMarcus Cousins. It's just a terrific down low presence. Bring in Derek Williams, Ben McLemore, Grievous Vasquez, or Isaiah Thomas. That's a good team. Even if they end up with Marcus Smart, that still is a much better team. I like what the Kings are doing. I like their potential. They just got to put all the pieces together and actually fix the puzzle now.
I think they got to get rid of DeMarcus Cousins ASAP. And that brings us to a very short edition of Rookie's Rant. Did anybody out there see what DeMarcus Cousins did after that Clippers game? Did you see that?
No.
One of his teammates went to shake Chris Paul's hand. Believe it was Rookie. This is killing me. Because I just read this and I cannot remember his name all of a sudden now. Basically, one of his teammates went out to shake Chris Paul's hands, and DeMarcus Cousins pulled him away. Would not allow him to shake Chris Paul's hand after a very hard-fought, closely contested game.
Oh, yeah, the game they lost by 1.
Yeah. Terrible. Terrible. If you don't want to shake hands, you're a bad person. If you're not going to let other people, that's wrong.
Yeah, okay. Well, I agree with you that he is not a good person at all. But you do realize that game, DeMarcus Cousins was very upset. Travis Outlaw got a flagrant 2 foul in that game. They got in a lot of. They were getting chippy. It wasn't like it was a cute game and that he said not to do it. There was some big fouls going on there, so it was a little bit chippy. But I do agree that he's a bad person. But if you let him get away, you will regret it because he is a really good talent. And unlike Latrell Sprewell, I don't think he's going to end up choking his coach. I don't think he's going to end up just ruining his life. Look at the stats: 21 points a game and 10 rebounds. His field goal percentage definitely needs work. He takes some shots that are just terribly stupid. But he is getting significantly better. You look at him over the years. You see, every year, except for 2012-2013 was a regression, actually. A slight regression. But this year, he's definitely picked it up. I think he's an important part of this team if they want to win a title. If they're going for Nicest People of the Year awards, get rid of DeMarcus Cousins. Because he's not going to win you that award.
Alright, down 2 more topics of the night. I told you guys I missed you guys after taking a 2-week break. I promised you something good. We're going to have our longest show ever, it looks like. We're heading awfully close to the 2-hour mark, and considering how long all of these segments have run. First of all, just a huge thank you to Noah. Right now, you live in Chicago, so it is nearly 1 a.m. your time, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. So we're going to try and wrap it up here. 2 more topics. Second to last one, Mike Woodson. Do you fire him? It's very simple. He says, quote, "I don't think I've lost the locker room." Is it over for Mike Woodson?
There's something wrong with that statement. I don't think I've lost. You don't think you lost them? Well, here's what I want to hear. Have you lost them or have you not lost them? I don't want to hear it. Do I think? It's like I think we won the game.
Yeah, okay.
I think I made the right call.
It's like that pilot of that jumbo jet in Kansas who said, "I think I know what airport I'm at." Turns out he was 12 miles away.
Exactly. It's like It's like, if you don't enter this code correctly, the world will end. I think
Speaking of the code,
that instills confidence in me. No. Once you say I think and you're not sure anymore, you're done. You're done. Get out. Get out of New York. They don't want you there. They want a winning coach. They don't want a guy who I think we might be able to win. He was talking about how the season isn't over. I think he said, I don't think the season is over. I don't think it is. Okay, that's for you. You don't think. I don't care. I want to know what's actually happening.
I don't think there's enough chemistry there. I think this team doesn't have the ability to work together, and I don't think Rob Woodson's making anything better. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Final topic. One that hits close to home for me. Kobe Bryant has been signed to a 2-year, $48.5 million extension. Yeah. This could take the Lakers out of the running in free agent markets. And so the question is, do you agree with what the Lakers did?
Possibly the worst. I have so much respect for Kobe. But if he wants that kind of money, if he is the most selfish player I've ever seen, does not deserve to be talked about in the same conversation as Michael Jordan. He would not have done that. Michael Jordan wouldn't have. LeBron definitely did not do that. He does not deserve to be talked in it. That is not a good teammate. You sign a lower contract so this team can get another ring. You do not sign one. It is ridiculous. Worst contract signing I've seen. I hope this wasn't Kobe Bryant doing it. I hope they just offered it to him and he didn't say he wanted that.
Okay, well, according to Kobe, he told this to Yahoo Sports on Monday night, quote, "This was easy. This wasn't a negotiation. The Lakers made their offer with cap and building a great team in mind, while still taking care of me as a player. I simply agreed to the offer."
Okay, so supposing that's true, first of all, the Lakers are idiots for doing that. But are you serious? Are you serious? That is astronomically high. Look, I wouldn't pay LeBron that. I'm sorry, I wouldn't do that. LeBron he wouldn't take that. He'd say, no, I want a lower contract so I can bring in this player. But it's just stupid. Just a bad signing for them. Just another mess up. That's a big mess up for the Lakers.
I think that if Dr. Buss was still alive, this never would have happened.
Agreed, 100%.
And it really proves how much the management, the front office can affect a team. What are you eating?
Wait, why isn't Jeannie Buss? Jeannie Buss should just take over.
Why is Phil Jackson not here? Phil Jackson would not stand for this. Phil Jackson, Zen Master, would say, we will pay you half as much. Let me tell you something, if Phil Jackson was there, Kobe Bryant would play there for about a fifth as much.
Contract negotiator.
I'd love that.
You would get him to take significantly less. The team would get built a lot better than a team that now spent a lot of money, probably won't be able to sign big star players they wanted to sign.
Let me say this. I don't think the Lakers were willing to watch Kobe play in a different jersey, and to be honest, I don't think the fans would have. I certainly would not be able to deal with it, and I think he would have. I think that he's in it for another ring. That's what he's in for.
Okay.
What? You think that's wrong?
No, okay, no, I understand. I agree with you that he's in it for another ring, but really, do you think he really would have? So if you do this, if you go out into free agency, you sign Carmelo Anthony and another good player, and you only have 10 to 12 million left in cap, which is enough for Kobe at his current level, because we don't even know where he's going to be. But you don't think he would accept it if that would now be a team that could compete for a championship?
There was no guarantee, and to be honest, I think Kobe Carmelo would be a terrible
So
Combo.
not Carmelo, but somebody else who's a talented player. They go out there and they do something to go and get some talented players. If I understand, there's no guarantee, but I do think he would be sent. I think that if you had offered him $16 million.
If the Lakers can trade up in the draft, could you imagine the mentor that Kobe would make? How much money they would save? Listen, the free agent market isn't going to be as good next year, but they'd still be able to.
I understand that he's a great mentor, but you don't pay a mentor $48.5 million. I'm sorry. You don't do it.
I think it's too much. I think it was too much.
Yeah,
but if this is what Kobe demanded, then two things. A, shame on Kobe. I don't think that's what he demanded, though. I think this was the Lakers being afraid. I think this was the new boss just really screwing up. He, again, continuing to hurt this. He was not willing to be the one that let Kobe get away.
It's a bad bus. Buses are breaking down.
Ha 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 ha.
Buses.
Yes, because their last name is Bus. But if this is what Kobe demanded, I don't think we would have had the ability to say no. And shame on Kobe if that's the case. But I don't think it is.
Yeah, and the Lakers I think they screwed themselves over. And I think that they're I don't think players are gonna be as inclined to sign with them. Because I think what free agent targets also want to see is, after you sign us, will you also have the money to go out and add another piece? Or are you now stuck at the point where you won't be able to sign another significant piece? Because if they do decide to sign like a big player, hopefully they decide not to sign Melo because Melo is an ego and will want just as much money as Kobe.
Here's what I want. This is the dream scenario. Somehow, some way, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, together again in Los Angeles.
Not gonna happen.
I'm saying it's a dream scenario. It could happen with Kevin Love. It would have happened, but now it's probably not.
Kevin Love isn't for a little while. You do realize that's not and by then the Timberwolves might actually be a really good team. So
correct.
I can see it more with Russell, actually. I can see it more with Russell.
I mean, we could just take the UCLA team in the Final Fours. Darren Collison, Aaron Aflalo. You could just take a bunch of the old UCLA players. Aaron Aflalo, Trevor Ariza, Luke Richard, and Mba Amute.
No, don't do that to yourself. That's bad.
Wait, no, he's a bench player. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, Matt Barnes.
Lou Alcindor.
Way too far back. Ryan Hollins.
You can get it done.
It could happen. That would not be a terrible team.
No, I wouldn't. It wouldn't, but it's very unlikely that happens.
Correct. Although I wish it would happen. Alright.
Yeah.
We're heading near the 2-hour mark, so we're going to wrap it up. It's time for awards. MVP goes to the incomparable Ron Burgundy, coming to a television set near you.
I just watched
theaters.
I just watched it 2 days ago.
Oh, it's such a great classic. And Anchorman 2 is coming out.
I need all of you ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed a horrifying piece of news. I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. And then he says the cannonball part and jumps in.
Yes. Ron Burgundy is going to be covering curling on TV in Canada, the Olympic trials for curling, and he's going to guest host. Well, Will Ferrell's going to guest host as Ron Burgundy in an episode of SportsCenter. I cannot wait. December 5th. Mark your calendars. Facepalm will have to go to the Florida Gators linemen blocking each other in their loss to Georgia Southern. And sympathy has to go to Robert Griffin III, who was kicked in the, let's call it, midsection. We all feel for you, RG3.
Hopefully RG3 Sports Nation noises for these awards.
Hopefully RG4 is gonna end up being okay. We're heading into okay. Noah, very quickly, you have 10 seconds. Final thoughts.
Ohio State will hopefully win the national championship game. Why are you counting down? Bulls, I need you to do something, please. Just my final plea.
Yeah, alright. Thank you, Note to Board from Blake and Noah from LA to Chicago. I'm Jake. Be with us in 2 days, hopefully, in Mexico. Thank you for listening to Rookies Roundup. Tell your friends, tell everybody. Until next time, I'm Jake.